Hello, Final Two. Hello, jury. Tonight is the night you guys have been waiting for. Tonight, we will be crowning the winner of the system Legend of the Burn Tower. Of course, one of those people will be either Connor or Rory. So, tonight, the jury gets to speak. You guys get to ask these two any questions you want, make any statements you want in the time that you have to do so. But first, Connor and Rory will get some time to speak. Each of them will be getting 10 minutes for both opening and closing statements and going in final chamber winning order. So, since Rory won the final chamber, he will be going first. After Rory, it will go Connor, and then it will be open to the jurors, starting with Vicky, and we will be going in elimination order. And again, the closing statements will be going in the same order as the opening statements, so Rory will go first and Connor will go last. So with that, let me get my timer ready. Now we'll open the floor for Rory. And all right, Rory, when you are ready, you may begin.
All right. I want to apologize because I wrote a long opening speech, but I promise my closing speech is a lot shorter. So here we go. Getting invited back to Second Chances was such a huge, massive honor. I never thought at the start that I'd make it all the way here to the end, but I'm going to walk you through the game that I played and my strategy that I had. Knowing everyone here had played before, I knew everyone was going to play aggressively and individually as a whole, so I needed to differentiate myself from the pack, so I tried to make sure I came across as passive, manageable, and as an open-minded player, which I was at the beginning of the game. My key to success in any game is protecting and keeping people in who I know will return the favor. So with that, I made a plan and I was ready to run. However, I also knew that I had to play this game with extreme authenticity. I wasn't afraid to be myself because being myself is what got me back in the game to get another chance in the first place. The trainer experience twist I knew was going to encourage a lot of inauthenticity from everybody. So I knew once again on that front, I wanted to differentiate myself and be as real as I could with everybody. I immediately rekindled the relationship I had with Lucas from my original season, but I also made several key connections for my game from the start, mainly Cody, Ivy, Connor. And as a whole, I just wanted to be as real as I could with everybody else. While most people would define entering the first chamber as a negative, going into the first chamber put me in a fantastic position socially. While it did make me a quote-unquote like easy chamber target, I helped supply Dustin and Vicky with information that sent home Jace against me. I'm not claiming that as my own move. I'm just stating that I did have involvement despite being in the chamber without a vote. With the round 2 chamber, Cody, Ivy, Lucas were all people that I was really close with. But knowing Cody was the target, I wanted to shake up the game slightly, so I made sure to save him, and it overloaded Lucas out of the game by being open and honest about that, but losing Lucas ended up buying me 2 more very good allies in Bill and Justin, and with that, Hex was formed with the 3 other people I had closest with me in the game. Saving Cody, I do think, actually burned my relationship a bit with Vicky and Dustin, so it was a choice I had to make for the long run as opposed to the short term, so my game shifted, and my vacation time did not help that. Hex was a large group with massive targets. It was myself, Connor, Justin, Bill, Cody, and Ivy. And my strategy shifted from being a passive, kind of almost a weak player, into like an info bomber. I knew I needed to drop key pieces of information at the right time for my game. And my gut instincts for this next round kept me out of the chamber by a wheel. Granted, it was still by a wheel, and I think it was because of the fact I burned Vicky and Dustin. Connor and I, after Lucas left, we bonded even more. We solidified and we named our final 2 American Beta. We knew Bill was a huge player in the game, and thus we had the Live Night 2 Hatgate, which was a code we came up with that if Bill was in, we were going to send him home. So I was able to front with Hex that I was trying to overload Vicky, but in reality, I was trying to send Bill home the entire time. And while Connor didn't do a lot of the talking, it put it on me to get it done. And I also thought at the time I did have a better relationship with Vicky than I did with Bill. So I wanted her in the game over Bill. And sending out Bill improved my positioning in Hex immediately. I felt like I was on the bottom. Getting rid of Bill, it improved my positioning within Hex and made it better for me, even more so in the long term. And I knew that because I spent the beginning of the game establishing myself as honest, I needed to start being a little bit more strategic, a little bit more cunning, and I felt like I was in the game with a bunch of Apex Predators, so I knew I had to outsmart people. So in a game of Apex Predators, I knew I had to become a fox. And so that way, if players decided that they needed to go big game hunting when Jury Face started, which we did, that I was going to be okay for a very long time. So that worked out for me. I just needed to optimize and try and keep people safe who were going to keep me safe. So while that next round, the first round of Jury was my second trip into the chamber, I was good because of Hex. And while there was a little bit of a civil war that started because of that round within Hex, I was still safe. I felt more inclined to work with Cody and Ivy over Justin and Connor because I trusted Jocho the least of the 5 remaining people in Hex. And that next round at Final 8 was my big power play, I will say, of the season, as I kept Cody, Ivy, and myself out of the chamber with the information that Connor did give me. And unfortunately, it made us even bigger targets for the next round, but it saw my top 3 allies all go into the chamber, and it made it extremely difficult for me. That was the worst round of the game for me. So I made a really risky decision, and I said, I do have power in this moment, and I chose to give it up, knowing exactly what I was doing, telling Justin what I was going to do, giving him all the power in the round, and knowing I could tank him with it, which luckily I was able to immediately do because of the live night and he was in. So it helped with my positioning even more that did happen. I went in again at Final 5. I didn't want to go in with Cody because I knew realistically Cody was seen as the biggest threat in the game, but I adore Cody. I didn't want him to go, but being in with Cody, it guaranteed me another round. But then I knew I was realistically, the Fox had finally become the Apex at the Final 4. If I didn't have that vote, I knew I was going home. So I sent home the biggest threat to my game and the person who I felt like had the least hand in keeping me in Jake. It was the biggest reason behind that decision. And then getting into the final chamber with the trainer experience points, my authenticity with everybody, I felt like it paid off. I got a 114 out of 143 possible points and got first place in the final chamber. Even Connor admitted after we were the final 2 that he was a little bit worried to sit next to me, but that didn't faze me. I stayed loyal to my final 2 to the best of my ability that I could. Everybody, here to answer any questions you have about my game, and I'm going to try to do so with the best of my ability. Thank you, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
All right, Connor, it is your go. When you're ready to begin, you may do so.
First off, I want to say that this opportunity is something I didn't think I was going to get. So having this meant the world to me, and I took this opportunity. And last time I played, I got 10th place, and I always played from the bottom. I always didn't know what was going on, and I just barely survived and barely survived and barely survived. Tried to do things, but they ended up just not working, and I could never find my rhythm last time. I made a vow that if I ever played the system again, this is the game, this is the platform, I know in my heart I can win. I made that vow to myself from day 1 of this game. Not even day 1 before, when Nate was like, hey, Connor, you're in the most annoying way he did. Sorry, Nate. Still hate you for that. But I knew in my heart this is a game I could win because I knew I have it in me. And everything went into there from the start. Round 1 was the most important round to me because I knew I had to set myself up perfectly in this game. Round 1, I talked to every single person on call and had a conversation on call with every single person in the game, including Jake. I wanted everyone in this game to view me as someone they can pull in. I never wanted to be strictly one side, even though that's how I appeared. I wanted everyone to be like Connor in the know. I made the vow to myself to never be out of the know this game. Last time I played, I never knew anything. This game, this time, I always wanted to know everything, and I was always in the know throughout my process, and I'll explain more on that. Round 1, I made a very, very big thing that no one knows about round 1. I had an alliance, round 1, myself, Rory, Ivy. What people don't know, I also had an alliance with myself, Vicky, and Blake. I knew Vicky and Blake were close and capitalized on that round 1. Me and Vicky had a call. And Vicky, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. This was like very, very quick after Jace was put in the chamber. I believe on that call, I was the first person to say, let's overload Jace. And me and Vicky made it happen, and that's how that happened. And then Vicky and Dustin, I knew were close because as soon as I told her that Vicky and we came up with that plan with Blake, he was at work at the time. What happens? Vicky then goes to Dustin, and Dustin starts working hard for it. And Dustin comes to me like, Connor, what do you think of this plan? I'm like, oh, that's a good plan. I wonder who came up with it. I knew I came up with it. And from the start, I wanted to play this game hard. And from the start, Jace went, and then I wanted to keep moving forward. I decided purposely for the second round to I was very weary of being I wanted to pace myself. I wanted to be in the know of things, but also I knew when to take a step back. I knew that whatever happened with the Chamber round 2, I was saving Ivy, but I knew whatever happened, I'd be able to be adaptable and adapt to whatever happened. Did I know Lucas was going? No. Did Lucas going completely blindside me and make me, oh no, what am I going to do? No. Because right after Lucas went, I knew people found me in Portugal, and that's when Hex was formed. I was right into Hex after Lucas, like 30 minutes after Lucas left. So I knew my plan was working. I took a step back, and now I'm part of a 6-person alliance. Granted, this alliance is great, but it's not great for me forever. And I knew that in the bottom of my heart. Next round was a big round for me because I could see who needed to go for my game, that person being Dustin. I am building relationships with people like Jake and people like Carissa, and they all talk about how much they love Dustin. I know that Dustin had an alliance with Carissa and Vicky, and Lucas was in that alliance. Carissa tells me that. I knew that Dustin had a really close relationship with Jake. I knew Dustin had all these things. I had to use my relationship with Hex and my alliance with Hex. Hex made that move happen as a whole because Hex came together and said, okay, let's make sure Dustin goes. But if you had to look at Hex and who was the one person in Hex out of the 3 people in the chamber pushing for Dustin the most, it was me. I had Justin in my PMs, Ocho going, Connor, I don't care who goes. It's not a big deal. But I knew I had to make Dustin go for my game because I knew if he goes, people like the Vicky, people like the Jake need me more. And I want to work with everyone. I want everyone to feel like they need me. Keep moving forward. Hex and me, but I pushed for it, but Hex helped make it happen. Dustin left. Live night happens. I just lied to Vicky. On paper, you'd say, why not just send Vicky home, right? Why not send Vicky home? I'm not going to Final 10 with a 6-person alliance that I know I'm not at the top of. Yes, I lied to Vicky, but Vicky can't go there. That's why Hatgate was formed. I literally put on my hat, and I said, I had the code of this, hey Rory. I put on this hat, that means Bill goes. I put on the hat, Bill goes. I play it off like, oh, I didn't know it was going to happen. The reason I was so quiet, I was counting every single vote the whole time. And I knew what needed to happen. I knew where I needed to place my vote. I knew I needed to be able to go. I needed just one Hex gone, so the Hex needs me more. I was really worried about that. I keep moving forward. I keep building my game, Then the round Vicky goes was a big round because that is when I knew I had to play and just show everyone I was playing for myself. Vicky's in the chamber. She's in the chamber with Jake and Rory. Now, Hex as a whole, I mean more so Cody and Ivy, basically kind of speak for the group unless we're going to send Jake home, right? I openly said I don't want Jake to go. But they're like, Jake goes. I'm like, I see what's happening because Cody's been telling me about Vicky and his close relationship. I saw everything that I needed to see. If Jake goes, what does that mean for my game? What that means is Cody, Ivy, Vicky, Blake could be a 4 because they all have a relationship. That's all you need. And then Rory can be closer with them than I am. That's 5 of 8. That's 5 that I'm at the bottom of. I had to make the big move, lie, and get Vicky out. And that was 100% my move. I had to kind of push it on Ocho because it was strategic for me to do that. Ocho had a history in this game of being kind of like someone crazy, and he played a very sane game, but I had to kind of push on him because I needed that perception of what was happening to kind of be on him more so than me. My biggest claim to fame in this game is what a lot of you don't know. Yes, I was the last person not being in the chamber, but you want to know what's even better than being the last person not in the chamber? Making it to round 6 of the game without anyone touching my popularity once. I had to lie and say people were touching me. No one touched me until round 6. Ocho was the first person in this whole game to ever touch my popularity. You want to know why? Because I had to make sure everyone needed me and wanted me. And I had to lie my ass off in that. I had to be like, because I couldn't be the guy to say, oh yeah, no one's touched me yet. You have to portray it as like, I'm being touched too, guys. My popularity is being affected too. It wasn't until round 6. Round 6. I don't know what kind of record that is, but I know that's an accomplishment that I'm very proud of. All this time, no one sees me as a threat. I'm Goofy Connor. There's bigger threats. You got Cody, Ivy, Rory, Jake, all being talked about. What about dorky old Connor? The reason I'm able to get away with this stuff is because I portray myself in a way that no one takes me seriously. I'm not a threat to anyone. In fact, I was a part of so many big things in this game. So many big things that I can put my hat on. the most important thing to me in this game was making sure I had relationships from the start and people wanted to work with me. I came in this game with Ocho. I'm going to be honest. I saw the cast. I saw Ocho there. I got scared. Me and Ocho have a history in the system not getting along. I had to play a little bit dirty on Ocho in some areas, but I will never say that I could have got to this game without Ocho. I needed him. He needed me. I had to play a little. I had to bring my inner Ocho out from season 4, and sometimes I had to bring my inner Ocho out. But I needed Ocho in this game, and Ocho in this game, I could not have done it without him. I built strong bonds. I had the evolutionaries, an alliance with me, Carissa, Jake. Carissa then leaves. I had Carissa, a strong relationship with Carissa that no one knew I had. She's gone. Me and Jake kept that alliance in name of her, in honor of Carissa. I've kept a close relationship with Grace. No one knows where Grace is except for me. I've been able to be very mischievous and use my relationship with Grace. Everyone's like, oh, Grace is just a number. No one talks to Grace. I did, and I have the whole game. I played this game from the start. I played this game consistently from the start. I never let my foot off the gas, and yet I appeared to be not a threat at all. No one ever saw me as a threat. In my opinion, I really did play my ass off this game. I put every ounce I had because I always said to everyone after my season talking, I was like, this game I knew could be the game I could win. I knew I could win it. And now I'm in the final 2. And I believe not only I could, but I genuinely believe I played the game that this system this season is worthy of sitting as the winner. I believe that with all my heart. I'm excited to answer all of your questions. I love this game so much. I'm passionate right now, as you can see. My shirt is now floating off my chest in excitement, but I'm really looking forward to speak to all of y'all and talk to all of y'all. And yeah, that's my speech.
All right. Thank you, Rory and Connor. With that, we now go over to the jury. As stated before to you guys, it will be going in elimination order. So, Vicky, take the floor.
Oh my God. Hi, guys. I want to thank production for bringing me back, and everyone on this season was a freaking gem. I didn't dislike anyone in this season, which is really rare. Congratulations to you two sitting there. You did something none of us on the jury could do. I want to start off by saying there were a few holes in what Connor has said where in reality I don't believe it because other things happened and that I saw, and I'm curious to see if others can see that he poked holes or others poke holes, whatever you want to say. So I'm curious to see later on if they're like, oh yeah, Connor said this and I didn't agree with that either. But you're here. I'm not going to ruin your game by saying what's right and what's wrong. You made it there. What I want to know from both of you, and Rory, I have nothing to say from what you did. Both of your speeches were amazing. What I do want to know is, did you guys have final 2s, ride or dies, whatever you want to call it? And who were they? And if so, like what order did they go in? And Rory, you can start.
Okay. So to be completely transparent, like I said in my speech, my 4 people that I felt like I really had were Connor, Lucas, Cody, Ivy. If anything deals, Lucas and I had a final 2 deal going back to Weird Mageddon. We see how great that worked out for us both times. But I feel like this time my priority really was Connor. I knew if anything, I'm gonna be completely real. I don't remember if I made I think I might have had a final 3 with Cody and Ivy, but I knew like thank you, dog. I wanted my final 4 to be Connor, Cody, and Ivy as soon as jury phase hit. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but which I'll touch on later, but I played a human game. I didn't play a perfect game.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Connor, go ahead.
Most definitely. And I had a lot of final 2s in this game. I had a really strong final 2 with Grace. She was the person I would have took to the end no matter what, because I have to look at things I would have beaten Grace no matter what. I honestly believe that, and I've been kind of doing things to affect Grace throughout the game to make sure that if I could get there in the end, I've done things to make sure I've affected her enough for like statistics to know I would win. Also had a really close and final 2 deal with Jake. Jake is someone that like I wanted to take, and I would have taken Jake and Grace to final 3 instead of Rory for the simple fact that I actually trusted what Jake was telling me more than Rory, and my statistics are something I value in that like I wanted to trust about people, and I needed to know what my dad needs to stop coughing his butt off. Okay, but that's something I trusted with the statistics, and I trusted what Jake told me more. Had a final 2 with Carissa. Fortunately, Carissa had to leave. That affected my game. Carissa was someone I really wanted to go far with. And also, me and Ocho agreed we really wanted to go far together, and I had one with Ocho as well. I would have taken Grace, but then I would have wanted, like, if I couldn't have Grace, I would have wanted any of Jake or Ocho. And honestly, like, and I will say, like, there may appear like there's holes. I don't have the best memory. I'm not perfect either. Feel free to say, Connor, I don't know about this. Are you sure about this? I will gladly answer. And if I made a mistake, I need to clarify. I do that all the time. I'm not the best speaker. I will do my best to clarify. Feel free to just, Connor, what about this? And maybe there's something that you don't know, or maybe I can explain it. Maybe I'm just wrong. I'm prone to all of them. So, but yes, thank you very much, Vicky.
And Connor said who he would have brought, like if this were like a Big Brother style or anything. Rory, if you were able to bring someone with you to sit next to you, who would you have chosen?
I would have kept Connor. Like, and that might be the biggest mistake, but that's the honest to God truth. Connor.
We'll find out. All right, and then if I have more time, you guys both talked about hex or hexes a lot. What I was going to ask next was what alliances got you to pre-jury, and then from then, what alliances got you to finale? Was it hexes? Were there other little ones that were important in there? Let me know.
I'll start with that. DVR got me through round one. But after that, we just drifted, and Hex was formed. It was a 6-person, Bill, Justin, Connor, Cody, Ivy, myself. That got me through until it dissolved, and then I had to get myself from Final Four to...
When did it dissolve?
It just dissolved as people left. I would say, if anything, there was like a little moment of a civil war with your elimination where it kind of became like JoCho Connor against Cody Ivy, and I was just kind of more inclined towards Cody Ivy because I didn't really trust JoCho.
So that was actually the one hole that I would have poked in. Well, okay, there were 2 things that I would have poked holes in with Connor, what Connor said, but that was one of them, because if I never told Blake to vote for Rory, it would have never overloaded. So that's why I was like, I don't know about that statement that Connor made. And Connor, you can go ahead and talk about that, and then the alliances as well after.
I would love to talk about what we just mentioned, because what actually happened is you told Blake to vote Rory, and Jake had come to me with some information, and so had Rory. I think it was mainly Jake. He let me know, because I had Jake. I want to save Jake. Jake was in danger. Jake lets me know that Vicky's trying to get it to Will. Vicky's trying to get it to Will while everyone else is going to be in danger. I knew that, Vicky.
I sure was.
And I knew exactly why you wanted Blake to save Rory, because you wanted it to Will. What I haven't mentioned is 30 minutes before the vote, I knew that, but I hadn't voted yet, but I knew that's what you were doing. So the reason I did control that is because me, JoCho, and Grace all pop on call. Grace actually voted you because me and JoCho convinced Grace to vote you, because we all 3 came together to make sure you went. I did know that. That was not a hole. That was, in fact, the truth. And also, like, the reason why I was a move betrayed against Hex, because I was supposed to vote that round. I was supposed to vote to save Rory. So Jake would have gone, but I wasn't going to let that happen. You needed to go. And that is not a hole. I am glad I had the chance to explain that. That actually happened. And yes, Grace did vote our way, me and JoCho's way, and I had to make sure it happened. I made sure it happened. So I'm glad you had the chance to explain that. Can you please remind me the other part?
The other one was, you said you weren't sure if you were the one to bring up the overload or me. I was the one to bring it up, as well as talk to everyone and put it all in a spreadsheet, and I made sure everybody was where they needed to be in order to make that happen. So
most definitely, you and Dustin were most proactive in doing that. My claim is that I was help in the process of making that plan actually be a plan. Me and you were there, and you, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, because there was a lot that happened that first round. But me and you were there, and we talked, and I said, what about, like, will I overload Jason? You thought it was a good idea. Like, was that work? Then I know you and Dustin had to have talked to me and close. That's how I knew you were close, because as soon as I tell you that, next thing I know, Dustin's going around making sure it overloads. And I'm like, oh, put 2 and 2
All right,
together.
Connor, finish your thought. Vicky's jury segment is now over. You can finish your thought,
guys,
Connor.
good luck.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, we move on to Blake. Blake, unfortunately, is not here. He is at work tonight, but he did send in a question for both of you. We will start with Rory on this one, because he mentioned Rory first. But the question for the both of you is, if you are you proud of the way that you played, and why or why not? Rory, you can begin.
I will say I am very proud of the game I played. I think the only honest to God I can look back at and I severely regret is the live night where Cody left and the revive was played. If that power didn't exist, I don't think I'd be sitting here, and I don't have a problem admitting that. But otherwise, everything else I did in this game, I will stand by till the day I die.
All right, and Connor?
I definitely stand by the game I played, and I'm very proud of the game I played because it got me here. I acknowledge some steps of the way I had to kind of use dirty tactics. I'm not proud of the sense that I had to like kind of made like everything looked at Ocho. Everything that I said Ocho was doing, I was in fact doing, but I needed in case people found out someone else to take the blame. I'm not proud of a human stance, but I know me and Ocho have history. I'm not proud of like I hope that it make you Ocho feel a certain way. In the same time, it got me to where I am. I don't regret the move itself. I know it can be icky, and I acknowledge that if it came across icky, I apologize for that. But from my standpoint, I am very proud of the way I played this game. I played hard, I played consistent, and I was always in the know. I've never played a game that I can honestly say I'm proud of like I played this one, and that's why I am most definitely stand by the game I played. And I acknowledge if I've been a bit icky.
All right. Before we move on, I just want to let you both know that Blake has pre-voted. His vote is locked. It cannot change. But as for everyone else, their votes are still live, so you are free to change them as much as you want until, of course, they submit their votes finally at the end of finale. So, moving on to the third juror. Ivy, you may take the floor.
I'm back! I know you miss me so much. Okay, let's get the tough shit out of the way. I hate both of you. I don't want either of you to win, but I'm forced. JK. I love both of you to death. You know this, Connor. You and I are close friends outside of this game. Rory, I loved you the second I started talking to you. So sad Unova League rejects could not, be a little bit better. I guess that's why we were rejected. I want to start off with Rory because that's kind of been the trend of the night. So Rory, I have one question for you, and it pertains to the round that I went home. And I think you know what I'm going to ask. Is everything that you told me on call with Cody that Connor talked to you about real?
The only thing that got twisted was the part that I feel like it was interpreted as blackmail, the things Connor said.
Okay.
Connor did say that he felt like you guys were both bigger threats and that if I did go to the end with you, that I was just asking to lose. But that didn't change the fact that it hurt me so much to have to make the choice, and that's why I made the play I did and shifted the power to JoCho in the situation and just tied it up 1-1-1.
In my opinion, probably the worst move you could have made.
And,
because in hindsight, if I didn't go, let's say Connor or Cody did, I would have been in that chamber the next round with Ocho. You could have gotten rid of me then.
Okay.
Better move, but oh well. Connor, I guess the question I'll ask you right now is, are you proud of the way that you've spoken to people in this game?
I will say publicly that I am not. For the most part, I think I portray myself in a good way. There are 2 moments that I feel like I have not, and I will say the system is a game like no other, and the stress it builds and the way it enamors you is like no other. Is that an excuse for anything? No. I've definitely noticed, sometimes I don't notice. I had actually a friend, outside this whole game, let me know, Connor, why is your attitude like that? Oh, my attitude like that? Yeah, you're getting a bit snippy. I'm like, oh, sometimes I need that, Connor, back off. And you are so good about Connor, watch your tone. And for that, I will say, I get stressed. I'm a very stressful person. I get stressed sometimes, and that a lot of times affects my tone. Am I excusing that at all? No. But I wanted to know it did not come from a place of, I was not trying to degrade anyone, it didn't come from an evil place. It came from a stress place. No excuse for that whatsoever, though. So for the most part, I am, but there are some few moments that I am not proud of the way I kind of handle myself and the way I can kind of get stressed out. And can I also touch on the question you had to Rory, so I can specifically say what I said to Rory?
If I have time, because I do have other things that I want to touch on. So 1, Hex. Rory, you did not mention one pivotal alliance that got you through at least one round of the game. And there's what? I swear to Hex, gone.
I'm not gonna lie, Hexagon, that I focused more on it as Yumi Cody, but yeah, the name for it was Hexagon.
I just wanted it mentioned on call.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Cody is very proud of that name, and I wanted him to get a shout out for that. Sorry. Going back into the relationship with Hex, though, I will say, and I think I can speak on behalf of myself, Ocho, and Cody when I say this, Connor was not the main person pushing for Dustin to go. It may have been a mix of him and I, but I was also highly pushing for Dustin to go because of the fact that I know him and Vicky are super duper close. And I also know that Dustin really wanted me out of this game. I know you're watching this, hun. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah. Other things to mention that I wanted to. Oh yeah. Thank you for getting Bill out of this game. I had no idea about like the hat thing. No idea. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Connor, if you would like to touch on the question that I asked Rory, if you want to do whatever.
I do apologize for saying that the Dustin was all. I didn't mean to say it was all me. I meant to say I was pushing for it, but they're like obviously you're pushing for it as well. Like I just wanted to put out there that I was wanting that to happen. I was pushing for that, but you were obviously pushing for that as well, and I apologize for like my memory or not acknowledging that. Another thing.
No, it's fine. Like I'm just saying. Like Vicky was saying, poking holes and things. Like we all remember it differently because of our perspectives, but there's specific things that do not make sense in this. And one of those being Rory. I have one gripe with you, and it's you giving Ocho the choice, because you could have made a move in this game that really could have impacted things. You could have sent me home on your own volition. You could have sent Cody home, which I know you probably didn't want to do either way. I have one question for you, since you also said that Connor was your final two. Did you cop out and vote for Cody just so you could keep Connor?
In which round?
The round I went home.
No, I let my heart run that round, not my head. I genuinely did not want to choose. There was nothing fake about my emotions to you and Cody, me fucking bawling my eyes out. I'm not afraid to admit that. I did not want to have...
We all did in Out Alliance. It's fine.
I wanted nothing to do with that decision. And if that's what cost me this game, then my heart will cost me this game.
All right. And kind of the final thing that I will mention is Connor. A lot of people in the jury have pointed out from just talking in your, excuse me, Diet Pepsi, opening speech, is that you talked a lot about connections and a lot about pre-jury to early jury moves. You didn't really talk a lot about everything else. Is that because you don't feel like you had a lot of impact on those decisions, or you didn't do anything in those decisions, or did it just slip your mind?
For me, like, I wanted to cover half in the front. I obviously have a lot to say. Obviously, my game does not stop there. If I guess now is a good time to say. I don't know how much time I have left, Nate, but I'd love to touch on as much as
You
I
can finish your thought really quickly. Ivy's time is about over.
I hope someone else asked me this question as well. There's more I had to say on my late part game, and there's a big reason why I wanted to go Final Four with the people from Season 7, a big point that I really want to get at. But there is definitely more to my game, and it did not stop there. I had to like kind of pace myself and make sure I didn't time out, but there's a lot more to my game and a lot more stuff that I did that I am proud of.
All right, with that, Ivy, thank you so much. Your time is now over, and we are moving on to Mr. Jocho.
Esme.
So, Jocho, when you are ready, you may begin.
Yo, look at you two. That's awesome. I'm so proud of both of you. I think you both crushed it. I think you both deserve everything that happened to you in this game, and I'm really excited for both of you. Connor, I want to start with you. Okay, so you lied. You were at times pretty manipulative, I found. You pretty much did everything you could, and you backstabbed, and you did what you could. And honestly, dude, I'm fucking proud of you, man. I'm really, really proud of you. I think you killed it. So I'm not mad at all. I just wanted to say that. And I think we all played a game, and I think we all did things that were a little questionable. And whether we think something happened one way or another way, I think at the end of the day, this was probably the best season of the system, maybe the best org I've ever played. So Connor, I just wanted to say I'm super proud of you, man. And whatever happens tonight, man, I hope you're proud of the game you played. Rory, I'll just say, man, that for me, you were always one of the top runners to this game. I thought you were going to win from the beginning, and I think you played an amazing game. And I don't really have the same questions as everyone else, but I have just one question. It's the same for both of you, and it's a little different. It's if you had to choose one part of the wheel that best symbolizes your game, what would it be and why?
Like part of a wheel.
Yeah, like what part of the bicycle? Sorry.
Yeah.
I asked that question totally wrong. What part of the bicycle would you be?
I would say specifically in regards to Hex, because a lot of my game did revolve around Hex. I would say I was like the frame of the bike, because there were certain moments that I felt like people were trying to rip apart, and it was better for the most part for me to try to keep it together. So like framing it together, so the tires, steering, pedal, everything would stay in one piece. Like I feel like that was a part of my game, but the problem is Hex hit some rocky roads and this bike just fell apart.
Yeah, I think that was, apologize for that. Okay, cool. Thanks. Rory, again, man, congratulations, dude. You killed it. Connor, what's your answer for this?
So I came into this game wanting people to feel like they need me and feel like they can really help me move them forward. So my game is 100% the pedals. You can't move a bike without moving the pedals. If you don't have the pedal, the bike is just going to sit there. You can walk the bike. No one wants to walk a bike. You need the pedals. You need the pedals to move forward. And people needed. The reason I got here is because people felt like they needed me to move forward. And so I was 1,000% the pedals.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, guys, congratulations, and everyone who played this season, congratulations. I think we crushed it. We were all losers, but I think we're all stars now. So peace out, guys, and best of luck.
All right. Thank you, Joe Cho. Next, we will be moving on to Cody. Cody, once you're ready.
Wait. First, I need to say, Ivy, I swear to God, I'm not doing that tonight. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'll try to be more emotionally available. Congrats to both of you. You beat all of us. You know, the same usual shit that happens. I'm sorry I look disgusting, but I worked an 11-hour shift and I basically came home to this. So I'm tired. I guess I don't know. Who wants the first question? Because I kind of know what I want to ask both of you. Okay, so Rory's like, I've had enough of this shit. You go. So something that I kind of want to ask you, Connor, is I know that you said in your speech, you kind of said, you like in this game, you brought your inner Ocho out. At least judging from how you talked about Ocho round one, I know that he became a very pivotal part of helping you in this game, as did a lot of other things. But you very much talked negatively about his game, and I was wondering if by you bringing your inner Ocho out, if we should also think the same way that you thought about Ocho's game.
The reason I thought I talked so negatively about Ocho is because that was our plan. Me and Ocho agreed that we're going to talk negatively about each other, especially in the beginning. You can ask Ocho. He said, Connor, just talk crap about me, because we wanted people to not think we were close. Because our bomb, when we started this game, he had me blocked. So we weren't close. We started the game, and the more we move forward, we realized, oh my God, this is working. We're really working well together. And then we agreed, just talk crap about each other the whole time. I did that. I'm sure he did that for me as well. That was the agreement we had. So it was not just like me just feeling the need to talk about nothing. It was an agreement. And so that's why, to hide the fact that we worked together, I think it worked. Because if people put me and Ocho together, more reason I have a target on my back. So that's an explanation for that. And when I say I bring my inner Ocho out, Ocho is known for, at least in season 4, being very proactive, and also like he's just kind of everywhere, right? He's everywhere. He likes to just put a lot of things in different people's heads, right? In that sense, I kind of bring my inner Ocho out, and also I feel like blaming someone else and making everyone else think that someone else was the reason that this happened when it was really you. That's an Ocho original. That's in the book of Ocho. That's what Ocho does. So that's why I say I'm bringing my inner Ocho out. And I love Ocho in the bottom of my heart. When you saw Ocho get eliminated, that emotion, it was 100% pure. But I have to portray in the game that we're not as close, because that was the agreement, and it worked best for both of us.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. So, Rory, like, quick first question, and I think that we both kind of know what I'm going to ask about.
Yeah.
Final 8, was that actually a misplay, or did you have some sort of super deep plan?
There
And when I
was,
say Final 8, I mean the first Final 8.
yes. Going into that, there was the thought in the back of my mind that Cody and Ivy are going to prioritize each other over me. But then, really, after it happened, I realized I would have been shafted in this game if you actually did leave there. There is no way I'm here. It was a mistake, and I felt like I had to make it up to you more than anything. And honestly, I don't think there's anything I really could have done. Like, it was fully if you were willing to forgive me. And that's why I was so apologetic about it. And I knew I wanted to keep you safe as long as I could because it was a mistake.
I mean, I know that I've told you this at least, but like basically like my story in this game was get told something, get lied to, get told something, get lied to again, get told something, have to down myself on 3 different occasions just to rebound the other way to stay safe. Like my game was a living nightmare of lack of trust. So like, you know that I was going to go literally anywhere that I could find it. I guess also follow up as well. I know that at least when I was in the game with Connor, he talked negatively about this, and I know that some people in the jury might be thinking about this. And I know that you even kind of touched on it of how like you thought that me and Ivy would always choose each other over yourself. I guess to you, like, do you think it benefited or hindered your game to kind of play as closely as you did to people that were viewed as a powerful duo?
Well, like I touched on in my speech, I fully was not convinced I was the biggest threat to win this game. Like I said, I was not an apex predator. So in a way, like, you do have to play this game with shields because we're not in an era of strategy in the system that people are going to let Noah Salvatore just run the game and walk into a final 2. So in my mind, to a certain extent, it was a combination of do I trust them and how threatening are they? Which is why I was genuinely invested in Hex, because I thought you, Ivy, Justin, Bill, all hand me my ass in a final. And then at the end, after Final 7, I was like, there was a part of me that was like, I just want it to be Hex in the end. And if I lose this game. And that is a big reason why I'm sitting here with Connor too. Like, in addition to American Beta, but like, I said to you, I wanted Hex to be in the final 2 of this game because Hex deserves to be in the final 2 of this game.
Which it did. Sorry. Yeah, you'll see in the write-up how much I royally fucked myself over trying to save face with my overall popularity, but like it was a mess, so have fun reading. I guess one more thing I want to touch on, which I already kind of did, but this game I was fed a lot of bullshit. Connor, I can give you timestamps for the final 5 if you need me to remind you of what exactly you told me. All the bullshit and pain and outright, I'm going to say betrayal in my eyes, especially with how that round started. So can you justify, like, not so much the beginning, I get why you did that, but once I was in the chamber and you knew where the votes were, why bullshit me for 6 fucking hours when you could literally just send my ass home in 2 minutes?
So for me, 2 things I want to mention. One, like, I think in that moment I kind of forgot about, I didn't realize you could just vote and get it immediately. Another aspect of that why it wouldn't have happened anyway, Grace, her activity and when she's online and such isn't always consistent, and getting a hold of her and talking to her is hard. I knew what I wanted. And I knew I had to feed you up alive. And the reason I knew I had to is because if I gave you any inclination, Cody, that you knew that it was you going home, you would have gone straight to Grace. You could have said so many things, and I have no doubt about it, you would have gotten out of it. Because I know how smart you are, how talkative you are, and how much you can, like, smooth somebody and just talk to somebody. And I didn't want to risk my game, knowing how I have the rest of this game figured out. If you go, I knew I made final 2 no matter what. Well, not final 3 at least. The final chamber was iffy. You never know about that. But I knew I could make final 3. even final two potentially. I had to do that to you for the simple fact that you're the type of player that if you know what's going to happen, you are going to like weasel your way into it. You're going to be able to find your way out. And especially, I love
Connor,
Grace with all
please
my
finish your
heart.
thought.
Okay. I love Grace with all my heart. I was worried about could you get in Grace's head, and I honestly believe you could have. And I couldn't risk that for my own game.
Am I allowed to respond, or should I just go off cam?
I can give you like 2 sentences.
Okay. I get that, but all I think is if you did feel as closely as you did with Grace, you'd at least have a little bit more faith in your ally, considering both of you were guaranteed safe that round. Just because Rory saw it firsthand when I thought he was the one going for even like 10 minutes, it killed me. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Cody. Next, we'll be moving on to Jake. So, Jake, you may get started.
All right. Hello. Congratulations to the two of you. It was a pleasure making it all the way to Final Four with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Rory. Rory, like, I respect your game a lot, but like the crazy thing is I've played 2 straight seasons with you and I feel like I know nothing about you. And I feel like, you know, the first season we could blame it on like you kind of going early, you know, and we didn't really get a chance to really connect. But like this time we made it all the way to Final Four and like you didn't really want to talk strategy with me. It would be like round 5 and you would tell me, oh, I'm just raising myself. And it's like, we both played this before and I know that, you know, that's just not, you know, how it goes. And like, after listening to everything, like your game revolved heavily around this Hexagon alliance. And so like, I just want to know why I, somebody who is outside of this Hexagon alliance, should vote for you when I feel like you kind of like tuned me out and you didn't really give me a chance to really want to work with you until you created that season 7 chat and you went back the first time you had a chance to really follow through on it. So like, I kind of want to hear your thought process on that.
If you don't mind me correcting you, Grace is the one who did make the season 7 chat.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
But in terms of just you and me in this game, like, I trust my gut a lot, and of course Nate can't confirm it anything, but genuinely, when I left, my targets were you, Pat, and Robbie. They genuinely were my targets when I left Weirdmageddon. I just knew you were a monster in this game. And you proved it by how far you got this time. I knew you were a huge threat, and I'm not somebody who can sit around and just bullshit somebody to their face for round after round after round when I knew in the back of my mind I needed to get you out as soon as possible. That being said, I didn't have the opportunity to do so until the Final Four, which is a testament to how good you are as a player. But I couldn't bullshit you that I wanted to keep you here and that I'm going to make strategic plays with you when I knew at the end of the day I was going to send you home the first realistic opportunity I could.
Okay, yeah, I can respect that. You know, it was just interesting to me because like me and Cody had like kind of that open like rivalry, whereas me and you kind of didn't as much. And so it was just kind of weird, you know, like going all the way to Final Four and we never really had that deep of a strategic conversation, you know, and part of me would almost like kind of prefer the bullshit just to kind of at least, you know, kind of at least act like you wanted to play with me sort of thing, because I had a very hard time keeping allies in this game. I never really had that strong of an alliance. Every time I gained like footing, I lost it. So it kind of would have been nice to, you know, just kind of have that interaction, even if it was total bullshit. But I respect you, you know, for the decisions that you made. And to Connor, I feel like you were kind of the opposite. You, like, one of the first things you said was like that you wanted to talk to everybody. And, you know, I knew that you were, you know, you had your hands in a lot of cookie jars, which is great, you know, and like, but I knew that you had my back at the end of the day. So that was kind of nice. I want to give you the opportunity to explain anything that you haven't explained yet that you feel like would be good to kind of elevate your game. I know that you have some other things that you want to explain. So I'm going to give you that chance right now.
Most definitely. So couple things I want to say. I haven't had a full chance to explain my late game. As it's been noted, I would love a chance to try and do that the best I can. The second half of my game. When Rory decided to throw his vote and give Justin the power, he let me know that's what he was doing. The first thing I did was run to Justin 20 minutes before it's time, and I look at Justin and I say, Justin, I don't care how you vote. Give me your word right now and swear to me you're not going to vote me, because if he votes me, I go home. Justin gave me his word there. I was able to use that last minute, just go to Justin immediately, just make sure, Justin, are you good? Then moving forward, we had the whole live. The live night was scary for me in multiple ways, but I knew if I could get past that first part, I could get through it, because I knew like I had people who would want me here. And I knew like Grace wanted me here, even though she would have saved you, Jake. I knew she wasn't going to let me go. As you saw, I knew Rory wasn't going to go either. So I knew that was an opportunity for me to like kind of sit back, knew I was going to be okay, or trust in my allies, and also not get any more blood on my hands by openly betraying people, or like seeming like I'm betraying people. When it got to Final 5, the reason I knew I had to take all 3 of the Final 7 to the end is because I got let know that there was a Final 7 chat, Season 7 chat of all 3 of you, and y'all 3 came with a plan. You're each going to raise me by 3. Each one of you came to me individually with that same plan. Grace says, Connor, Jake and Rory are going to raise you by 3. Jake says, hey, Connor, Rory and Grace are going to raise you by 3. Rory says, hey, Connor, Jake and Grace are going to raise you by 3. All 3 of them came to me. That's how I knew I had to. And that's the trust that I put in these people. And I knew, yes, it's the Jersey, but what are you doing all Season 7? What are you doing? I knew from that moment, I knew that was the play for me to get to Final 3. And I knew I had to do that. And like that in my mind is why I was so gung-ho, and it has to be Cody. And that's just testament to show how much people put their trust in me. And again, to relay back to Ocho, how much people use me like a pedal. Thank you.
If I can interject on something I think he said, I don't think there's any way in that chamber that Ocho is sending Connor home, but that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. Yeah, well, like, Nate, how much more time do I got? Do I got a few minutes or no?
You have exactly 1 minute.
Oh my God. All right. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really. So, like, this is just crazy. I feel like I've totally, like, there's a whole, like, different game, like, going on that I wasn't part of. Like, it's so crazy to me. And, like, I don't know. It's nuts. Like, my final thoughts right now are just like, Rory, I knew that you were a hell of a player, and I knew that your time got cut very short last season, and you were somebody that, you know, I knew I had to keep my eye out on you. So like, that's kind of interesting that we both were like kind of gunning for each other at the same time. But Connor, I feel like you are one of the most underestimated players in the system. I know the moves that you were making throughout the game. I feel like you and me were super connected the entire time. I know, you know, you had your whole situation somewhere like all the way to round 6 without getting touched. That's impressive. Like, I feel like that's an unbeatable feat. So no matter what happens tonight to either of you, you both played great. And, you know, I wish both of you the best of luck. But yeah, you guys killed it. Congrats.
All right. Thank you, Jake. And finally, Grace, you're going to round it out tonight before we get to the final speeches. So when you're ready, you can start.
Well, if my video will come on. Okay. We good. Hello, finalists. It's your flop, 3rd place, and her question. So I'm really glad that I'm the last juror, because there is a lot of stuff that I heard that I didn't know about that could be partially because of the fact that, let's be real, I was asked biggest flop this season, point blank, period. I sucked at this. Anyways, I have a starting question for both of y'all, and then I'm going to ask some follow-up. Like this time guarantees. So I kind of put this question together. How loyal were y'all to me, or how seriously did y'all take me as an ally? Because I did work with the both of y'all, and how did I benefit your games individually? Here's the thing. You're not allowed to use, I did it, because I thought you would be an easy beat. I thought, because she would be able, I can be able to drag her to the end and she'll do whatever. And you're not allowed to bring up any of.
What was the last thing I think you cut out there?
I cut out. And I say you're not allowed to use any other alliances or any other factors.
I don't mind starting. I'm not in this game without you saving me round 1. I knew from that moment that you had my back. And I always knew in the back of my mind you were somebody who I was going to be able to work with. Just the problem is the direction my game was going. But I always knew, like, I talked about my hypothetical, like, dream Final Four. I would want you at 5. And if you slip in there, I'm okay with it because I trusted you. It's just the main direction that my game went didn't involve you. And I think if I adjust too much to try and incorporate, then it tanks my game because they see it becomes extremely transparent. So I had to almost like segment parts of my game. But the absolute reality is if you don't save me round 1, I'm gone round 1.
Okay.
So you were key to my game.
So I said this once, I'll say it again. You were my final 2. It started from round 1. Not a lot of people talk to you, and you made that open. And you might have said yourself you weren't very social. I'm not really sure, but you were not really in the know of a lot of things. Vicky let me know when things started splitting up as sides, the Hex kind of side was forming, and then the other side that never really got a name with the Dustins and Jace started forming. And Vicky, I remember on a call saying, okay, Grace is kind of with us, but we're just like stringing like her along. There's nothing we really need to tell her or anything. I'm like, perfect. That's all I need to hear. I go straight to you. Even before then, I already built a relationship with you by telling you round 1 that your name was out there. That's how I built that bond with you to let you know, hey, Grace, pick up your game. And then from that forward, I knew not a lot of people were talking to you. To have an ally that not a lot of people are talking with, or at least how it seemed, Grace, at least in the early stages of this game, that's how it did seem, and that's how it kind of was portrayed. That's how I viewed it. That's why I had to capitalize on that, and I knew I could use you. Later on, I knew you were close with Jake. I still don't know what would have happened there, Grace. I knew you had a close relationship with Jake. I know you did. You can smile, I know. But for me, like, at least in the early stages, that's when I started it, and then I just wanted to continue on with you because I honestly did trust you, and I knew even when you had to save Jake in that time I was in the live night, I knew you did it, and I knew why you were doing it, and I was happy because I saw what your plan was, and it was to keep me without letting people know how close we were, and that's what I valued, and that's honestly that's when I like, okay, perfect, everything's going well, and that's why you were my final 2.
All right. So I do have another question for Rory. So, as we know, this Hex Alliance that I was not a part of, I feel like Jake right now. I didn't know what anything. Then again, I was asked at this game compared to everyone else. But anyways, so my question is, I was in the live night with the Prism Ratio, sitting in the chamber with 2 people from the Hex Alliance, Cody and Justin. So my question was, first of all, did you know Cody had the revive power?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so my second question of that is, what made you say you could have easily, because I was not a part of Hex, and you mentioned I was not in the direction of your game. What made you want to save me instead of Cody when Cody was closer? Seemed like he was much closer to you than I was, and you could have very well sent me home at that elimination.
Live nights are about snap judgments under pressure. My preference genuinely for that live night was for JoCho to go, and that's not the way the votes fell. There was a large moral dilemma because I gave my word that I was going to save you. That's not something I joke around with. But there was a moment that I thought about switching my vote as soon as I knew I was either going to switch it to Cody, guarantee he stays and keep Hex strong, or I switched to JoCho and overload him. I had no idea about the revive, but I also knew I didn't want you to go home, and that's why I was comfortable saving you. If that makes sense.
Okay, and then I do have this question for Connor. Now I haven't just thought out of this. So Connor, if I was really your ride or die in this game, like you claim, why did I not know about Hex?
For me, I even said in my confession at one point, that was my biggest thing. And I was literally debating when Hex was formed, I like sitting there like, what's the move? Do I run and tell Grace? I didn't know what the move was. For me, like, if I run and tell you, I knew at that time, keep in mind, this was when Hex had 6 people with Bill still there. You talked about Bill talking with you, and you talked about all that. I didn't know if I run and tell you, I trusted you, but also I knew you had a relationship with Bill. I knew you had something there. I knew you talked to Bill. And for me in that time, I really didn't know why. And then as Hex moved forward, Bill's not there. Obviously, I could have just told you then. I think the scary part for me was I told people about Hex when I felt like it made sense for my game. My fear is if I told you about Hex, you would view me totally different than you already were. I felt like you saw me as someone who also was just kind of here and just barely making it through and trying my best, not really in the know. And I think that's what also made you like want to work with me. You saw that. If I let you know there's a whole alliance that I'm a part of and that I've been a part of, I worry how that makes
Connor,
you view
please
me.
finish your thought.
I worry that makes you view me more of a threat, and that's something I had to make sure no one viewed me as a threat.
Can I say one tiny last thing first before?
Go ahead, because your internet cut out earlier, so I'll allow it.
Okay. I just want to. Okay, so just my final thing is still undecided. I still got to think on it, but I do love you both, and I think you both played amazing games. And whoever I vote, like you, congrats, you got it. But whoever I don't, like you still played a good game, and that's gonna be in my heart. I love you both so much.
All right, with that, the jurors are done except for their votes. Because it goes back to the finalists, each of you will have 10 minutes to give your final speeches. Rory, you will be going first. Your time starts when you're ready.
All right, I said it was going to be short, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I played this game to the best of my ability with the hand I was dealt. I didn't play a perfect game, I played a human game. I played with my heart, I played with my head, and I played with the authenticity to who I am as a person. I believe I had an extremely solid and I had a well-rounded game because for the trainer experience twist that everybody had a hand in, the best score you could get, as I touched on earlier, was 143 points, and that's everybody in the game as they left giving you number one, 13 points. I had 114 points, and I beat Connor out in that section by 16 points. I've made genuine connections with people who I talked to, or I've tried my best to when we did have the time. I did the best with the time we had. I made strategic power plays, sending home Bill, sending home Blake, sending home Justin, sending home Jake. And I had some form of information or knowledge about every elimination with the exception of Grace because the final chamber is not in our hands. And on the physical front, I won the last 2 missions of the season if you include Final Chamber as a mission, which I believe it does. And prior to that, 3 second-place finishes. I was much more dominant on the physical front than Connor. So if you're going to vote for the quote-unquote most well-rounded game, I believe I'm your candidate. But that being said, I want you to vote for who you would rather see represent this season. And if it isn't me, I understand it and I respect it. Thank every last one of you for this amazing experience, and thank you for making the most iconic season in the history of the system, and that is not me blowing smoke. That is spitting fact. Thank you, and good night.
All right. Night's not over yet, though, so Connor, you may begin.
First off, I want to say, I hope after this game, whether I win, whether I lose, whether I get 0 votes, every single one of you in this game, I'm really glad that I've strengthened friendships with others and formed friendships with others. Like, on that level, outside this game, I'm really glad. I'm hoping that if I obviously did things that make someone feel icky on the inside that go beyond game for them, I apologize for making people feel a certain way. I'm not going to apologize for the game I played, and I'll be open. I lied my ass off this game. I was the biggest snake you'll ever see. I lied so much that Rory just said Connor had the weak physical game. That's because I lied to him the whole time. You know what? The true fact of my physical game? I did bug catching round 1. Wall said I got 8th. All the other times I always competed, I never got out of the top 5. Because I lied my ass off to get people to not realize how well I'm doing in this competition. I probably lied to every single one of you. Listen, I understand that a lot of you are going to take that and are hurt by that. And on that level, on a human level, I apologize. This is second chances. I didn't think I'd get the second opportunity. I was not going to let myself down. if I was not going to let myself be upset with the game I played. I was not going to let myself feel like I could have done more. I was going to do everything in my opportunity to leave here knowing either I won or I left knowing I played my damnedest ass off. Everyone views me as silly, funny Connor. I never get credit for my game because all the time it's always like Connor's just goofy and chill. Like, no, I believe in the bottom of my heart, the way I played this game, I'm so proud of it from my level, and I hope you can at least find an ounce to feel the same how well I truly feel like. I hope you see I played this game. A testament to how well the whole time people perceived me. Everyone thought I was a truth teller. I got voted in the touchy subject. Let's not forget about this. Most likely to always tell you the truth. Now look at that now. Look at that now. I want everyone to look at that now. That's how well I had, like, that's how hard I had to try. That's how every ounce of my being I had to fight for this. I lied my ass off. I lied to everyone. I lied to everyone in this game. Probably even Nate at some point. I don't even remember. For me, I was not going to leave here with any regrets or feeling like I didn't give it my all. Because I knew I had to, not let myself down. Every time I talk with friends after my season, I always say the same thing, and I say this over and over. This is the first thing I said in my confessional. I said, if I ever had another opportunity at the system, I know in the bottom of my heart, this is the game I could win. I knew it. I know it. I know it. I know it. And now I have a 50% chance of winning this game. And I would love it if you could at least see, yes, I lied to you. Yes, I had to play dirty to some degree. I used the manipulation of all that. Please see that it came from a place of wanting to prove myself in a community that I feel like a lot of times overlooks me. And I hope you see it came from a place of this game meaning the world to me and not letting myself, Nate, or anyone that wanted me on this season or anything ever, not letting anyone down, including myself. I had to play my ass off, and I was not going to let myself down. That is my final speech. I hope, no matter what happens, we're all going to have fun after, and I love every single one of you. Even if you're upset with me, I hope I can at least call or chat after this and try and make amends, and hopefully I don't leave with any people hating me. No, I hope no one has me blocked by the next time we play another game together. Sorry, Joe, love you.
All right. With that, game's over. Everybody that's on the jury, it is time for you to vote. So if you have not submitted your vote already, send it in now. Your votes will be locked when you send it in. All right. So, Connor and Rory, give me a few seconds. We'll get everything together.
I'm going to just run and refill my water.
I love you, man, for sure. Oh, my God.
All right. Are you guys ready? Hold on 1 second.
No.
Define ready.
What color in the letter of the alphabet?
I mean, I beta be ready. Beta. American beta. Oh, my God, we got here, man. I love you, Rory.
No matter what, I love you, man.
All right. Let's start things off with Prism Ratio tonight. Again, you need to win 2 sections in order to win the game. 1 of Prism Ratio, 1 of overall popularity, and finally 1 of jury vote. I'm going to go in any order that I wish for this, whatever I feel like is the most exciting. So, again, starting with Prism Ratio. By a difference of 45% to 32%, congratulations, Connor. You have won Prism Ratio. So, Connor is at 1 point over Rory. Next, we're going to jury vote. First vote comes from Jake. Jake voted for Connor. Next vote is from Ivy. Ivy voted for Rory. Next vote is from Cody. Cody voted for Rory. Next vote is from Jocho. Jocho voted for Connor. Jury vote is 2-2. Next vote is from Vicky. Vicky voted for Rory. Rory leads the jury vote 3-2. Grace. Grace voted for, congratulations, Rory. You have won the jury vote. So we are tied 1-1 in terms of finale sections. Now it comes down to overall popularity. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's close. By a score of 14-13.
Holy shit.
The winner of The Legend of the Burn Tower is... Congratulations, Connor. You are the winner of the system.
Yes!
Winning both overall popularity and Prism Ratio. Guys, this was close. It was awesome having both of you on. Congratulations to you both. This was an awesome finale. Also, Matthew Henning does have a message for the both of you. He would like to congratulate both of you on making it to the final two. And congratulations to Connor for winning as well. Congratulations to Rory for getting runner-up. But once again, congratulations, Connor. You have won.
You did it, man.
Dude, I'm quibbling right now, Nate. Hate me all you want. Oh my god.